Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Before we officially start our program, I would like to thank our partners who made this event possible. Thank you to the ICT and to FEU Tech for this wonderful venue for our 51st Enablement Seminar. So now, may I please ask everyone to stand up for the singing of the national anthem.
Wait ha. Medyo nag-reload lang. So,
So definitely me again to everyone. Before we start, I would like to officially introduce myself. I'm Kamille, the Capability Development Officer of PSIA, and I will be your host for this evening. And I welcome you to PSIA's 51st Enablement Seminar. So before we start, I would like to share our seminar rules. Online participants, videos and microphones are disabled all throughout the seminar except during the Q&A portion after each topic of presentation or discussion. There will be a Q&A portion after all of the presentations or discussions of the speakers. And for online attendees, you can post your questions on the Q&A tab. The Secretariat will be recording the online Zoom seminar for documentation purposes. For on-site participants, kindly mute your phones and laptops for the duration of the event. So before we proceed with our speakers, the DICT would like to express their message of support.
The Philippine Software Industry Association President and DICT's good friend, Jonathan Del. To our resource speakers, Mr. Esmeraldo de Guzman, Mr. Vernon Cenzon, and Ms. Kamille Nina Agregado, and of course to the attendees of this highly relevant Enablement Seminar, a pleasant day to all of us. The Department of Information and Communications Technology is always excited to work with PSIA in bringing meaningful projects for the software and IT services industry. The 51st iteration of this software industry enablement seminar is a testament to the synergy between the government and its invaluable private sector partners. We at the DICT, with its ICT Industry Development Bureau, constantly look for opportunities to work with our industry partners to implement projects like this that empower the Filipino talent to not only keep up with the demand of the global market, but more importantly, elevate the quality of the entire country's software and IT services industry. We are pleased to once again provide support to these activities we have done for a few times in the past. The software and IT services industry is crucial in attaining the lofty goals set by the IT defense industry roadmap 2028. According to the roadmap, the software and IT services industry should be generating 9.6 billion US dollars and employing 280,000 full-time employees by 2020. The roadmap also emphasizes that the industry is witnessing a shift towards delivery of more complex services such as cloud, cybersecurity, and product services. Seminars like these that focus on specific technical skills like software testing provide our workforce with the necessary skills and knowledge to elevate their productivity and increase their contribution to the industry. Government support is essential for the success of activities such as this Enablement Seminar as we try to keep up with the ever-increasing demand for highly skilled talent. That's why we encourage our industry partners to keep the DICT informed about their initiatives so we can find ways to come in and provide support. The country needs to take advantage of the growing demands of the software and IT services industry. We must put emphasis on equipping our workforce with relevant skills and competencies to position the country as a highly desirable destination for investors in this country. Activities such as the Enablement Seminar provide us with opportunities to learn new skills and best practices in the industry. Although the industry goals seem daunting at first glance, they are certainly attainable, and we must make sure that we do our best to hit these targets for the benefit of the Filipino people. I cannot understate the DICT's appreciation for our private sector partners in working tirelessly with us in leading the country's digital transformation. Let us continue working together in providing opportunities for learning to our workforce. Rest assured that your DICT will always be supportive of your efforts in uplifting the lives of our countrymen. Maraming salamat po and good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you once again, DICT. I will now be giving the floor to FEU Tech. May I please call on Ms. Pauline Garcia of FEU Tech, ILA.
Miss Pauline.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I am Pauline Garcia. I am the Partnership and Marketing Associate from the ILA office of FEU Institute of Technology. So for now, let me introduce you our office. So we are the Industry Academic Linkage Alumni and Placement Office, or the ILA. So as I'm presenting right now, you're actually speaking to three schools. The first one is the FEU Alabang, and the middle one is the FEU Institute of Technology, and the last one is the FEU Alabang. The FEU Diliman, I'm sorry. Next slide. So this is our tagline, where industry meets academy. So we are established to facilitate the development of symbiotic relationships between the stakeholders and the FEU Institute of Technology. Next slide. So let me introduce to you our team. First off is Ms. Carmi Juarez. She is our director of the ILF office. Next, please. So this is Ms. Ditel Alimboyogan. She is the ILF coordinator for FEU Alabang and FEU Diliman and FEU Alabang. So yours truly, the lead partnership and marketing associate. And Ms. Maori Ong, she is the ILF coordinator and the internship coordinator for FEU Tech. And next is Ms. Joy Vienas, alumni and placement associate. So just to give you a brief background or history of FEU Tech. So, the four pillars of FEU, as you can see, is SM, IDM, and Intelligent Wave of Japan. So, and Far Eastern University set up a computer school, which was subsequently called East Asia College of Information Technology. In 2002, FEU gained sole ownership of the school, so it became FEU, East Asia College. And then subsequently, the Board of Trustees moved it at FEU Institute of Technology in 2014. So, FEU Tech is also recognized by the World University Rankings of Innovation, or the WURI, University Innovate. So we ranked 77 worldwide over the 100 top universities. So we ranked top 13 in Fourth Industrial Revolution. We ranked 20 in crisis management. We ranked 34 in entrepreneurial spirit, and we ranked top 47 in ethical value. Last school year, we ranked 98 from the World's University with real impact. So ranked 19 in Fourth Industrial Revolution, ranked 30 in entrepreneurial spirit, ranked 37 in crisis management, so rank 44 in student mobility and openness. So from rank 98, we ranked 77 this year. So here are the offerings under the College of Engineering. So as you can see, in engineering, we don't operate in FEU Dalaman. So for College of Engineering, we have civil engineering, computer engineering, electronics engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, both for FEU Alabang and FEU. So these are the programs that we offer in College of Computer Studies and Multimedia Arts. So we have Bachelor of Multimedia Arts. We have Computer Science with specialization in Software Engineering, and we have IT with various specializations such as Digital Arts, Business Analytics, Animation and Game Development, Data Science, Innovation and Business, Web and Mobile Applications, and Service Management and Business Analytics. So for the College of Accounts and Business, we offer it in FEU Alabang and FEU Diliman only. So we have accountancy, BSBA in financial management and business analytics, marketing management and multimedia design, operations and service management. So we have the partnership programs under our office, which is the ILA. So these are the collaborations that we can have. These are the first off is student internship. So we have research and development. We have recruitment activities as well. So we do job posting, job ads, recruitment activities with regards to the interns as well, and for the graduates as well. So we have faculty immersion, we have curriculum development and enhancement, and we also have scholarship. So that's all, just a brief background of our office. So if you are interested in partnering with us, here are the contact numbers and the email of our office. You can send our emails to us anytime, and we can address and set up a virtual meeting for your convenience. So thank you. And then
AVP.
I may now present the AVP of the FEIC.
FEU Tech Innovation Center, Philippines' first academy-based venture builder, building and scaling innovations, impact-driven solutions since 2019. With flagship programs. For the 6,000 program 705 ideas page patterns incubated. 145 startup teams incubated. More than 32 industry mentors. Prominent partner organizations. Global awards and recognition.
Ano, hindi ko bayad na lang.
One goal. One entrepreneurship equals. Library plus.
Behalf of FEIC, FEU Institute of Technology, and ILAP Office, thank you for listening, and we hope you will have a fruitful discussion today. And your staff, take over. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lee. So, without further ado, may I introduce to you our first speaker for this evening. So our first speaker has pioneered the creation of the website and members portal of a multipurpose cooperative in Cebu as a web developer. He is currently a manual tester at Orange and Brown Software Labs and have passed some certifications from BBST Foundation, BBST Bug Advocacy, PCS Foundation Certificate, and User Experience, and Cypress 101 Lambda Certification. So tonight we will be discussing Cypress as an end-to-end testing tool. So let us all welcome and give a round of applause to Mr. Esmeraldo de Guzman of Orange and Brown Software Lab.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor and PSIA for having me today as your speaker for Cypress. So before namin ginamit yung Cypress, we usually do manual testing for us to be sure na yung code changes namin for our project do not cause or not break the existing features and functions ng application namin. And today, after February, we used Cypress and it gave us confidence that those code changes, whether it's from features or bug fixes, will not break any of them. So in today's talk, I want to share Cypress to you all, for it to be added in your testing tools para magkaroon din kayo ng confidence na meron kayo ngayon sa pag-test ng web-based applications na.
Pwede yung click to, like the curve.
Right. So in the past, we usually reach out for Selenium based testing framework kasi ito yung most widely used for. And the steps that we did the testing for it consists of the following. Baka meron pang iba, pero ito yung iba sa kanila. Right, now we have another option, which is Cypress, an all-in-one testing framework that offers certain capabilities. And it also has stubbing and mapping data without relying sa Selenium. So ano yung sabihin nito? Ito. Or this one?
Ayan.
Right, so what are the key features ng Cypress? So Cypress has time travel debugger. So Cypress takes snapshots nung test steps natin, and it logs it in the command logs. And as we hover over them, nakikita natin yung exactly kung ano yung nangyayari dun sa app review natin, which is on the right side. Next, we have real-time reloading. So Cypress, as we save our test spec file, automatic na i-reload yung mga test natin. So nakikita agad natin yung changes ng mga test cases natin upon saving. We also have automatic waiting time and retry abilities. So Cypress automatically waits and retries yung mga commands na and assertions before moving on sa mga susunod na commands. This removes the or eliminates the adding of arbitrary awaits para makapag-proceed tayo on testing those elements.
Yes.
Fast execution. So Cypress is built on top of Node.js, and it uses JavaScript for writing tests. It also bundles yung jQuery and its modules, which is very, very convenient since malamang familiar na kayo sa jQuery. So quick glance on how Cypress operates. And most of the testing tools that is using Selenium, they run on parallel dun sa natin sa web application natin. And for them to manipulate yung elements, buttons, yung text input, they use the web driver to give remote instructions, to give remote instructions para ma-manipulate natin yung buttons, yung text, etc. Thirdly, Cypress, it runs on the same loop as our application, meaning we have direct access dun sa mga elements natin, as well as dun sa incoming and outgoing na requests ng ating application. This also eliminates the need for extra network communication dahil nga dun sa dahil nag-run siya on the same loop, and it effectively reduces yung overhead natin since hindi na siya send ng additional request. So what do we need to know before diving in? Now Cypress is using JavaScript for its test scripts. So having a good understanding about the JavaScript fundamentals will be essential.
Sorry. Ito. Sorry. Sorry po. Okay na po. Next slide ba?
Sorry. HTML and DOM. So since we are working with web applications, it is necessary for us to be able to understand how web applications are structured and how elements are identified in the DOM. CSS, specifically how elements are targeted. So CSS, alam naman natin, to target class, we use that class, or ID, we use hashtag ID. And lastly, Node.js And since Cypress nga is a node-based application and it relies on NPM in installing its dependencies, having a understanding on how to start a Node.js application and install new package will take you along. So how do we start using Cypress? So we just need to install it as our dev dependency of our application using the npm Cypress, and then we can now use it using the npx Cypress open. Actually, you don't need pala to install it as a dev dependency kung mag-start lang kayo to practice or to check lang yung Cypress. You can even create a separate folder and install Cypress there. Cypress has this base URL that you can edit, and kapag nilagay nyo na dun yung URL ng web application, automatic siyang na-detect ng Cypress. So upon opening yung Cypress app natin, we will be greeted by this launch pad. This is our portal for Cypress. It helps us for onboarding and choosing the testing type as well as launching our browser. As you can see, we also have an option to do component testing sa Cypress. But for today's talk, we are only interested in end-to-end testing. So Cypress can also do cross-browser testing. Currently, Cypress supports the Chrome family browsers, including Electron, Microsoft Edge, WebKit, which is yung web engine, browser engine ng Safari, and Firefox. Using Cypress Run, it opens yung, it runs our tests endlessly instead of opening yung Cypress app. So excluding Electron, any browser that we want to test Cypress in, needs to be installed in our local machine or CI environment. So sa Cypress app, we can see all our installed browsers sa machine natin dun sa Cypress app that you see here. So the first image is for Launchpad and this one is for the test panel. So upon selecting our browser, we will be presented by the list of our specs. So our specs here is the same as our test suites to Cypress. So this is our test runner. So at the core of Cypress app is yung test runner natin. And it shows yung mga test steps natin sa command log, which is again, kapag we hover onto them, it automatically shows what happens here sa app review natin. And here we can see yung test status menu, which shows the pass, failed, and skip test. We also have the URL view para sa application natin and the viewport sizing. So again, here's the command log na is used for time travel debugging, and we can also check yung state ng app natin as we hover on the steps or on the steps that the command log shows. So again, dito sa right side, we can see our app review. So Cypress also has the selector playground, which can be activated by clicking yung crosshair sa tabi ng URL. It will then, we will be able to hover on sa app review natin, and then we can click this, pwede natin i-click yung target natin element. For this one, in this case, the H1, and Cypress will then provide us yung CY.get command, which is basically the selector for Cypress that we can copy and paste dun sa spec file natin. So how are errors displayed Cypress? So this is sample code na expected to fail. In the Cypress command log, this is showing why exactly our code failed. It even shows the command, the line where the that cause the failure. And we also have print console. So Cypress is also a web application. So we have access to that tools, which is very, very convenient. So like any other frameworks, Cypress follows a folder structure. So by doing this, we can properly organize our tests, and we also got to enjoy Cypress features like custom commands, creating custom commands on the fly. So here your downloads is where the downloaded items will be contained to testing natin Cypress. And that folder will has our test script. Pictures will contain our data na we will be using in our test, like JSON, JS file. It also can contain image, CSV, etc. And then this support folder, this will specifically commands the JS that will house our custom commands. So let's quickly explore how we can write tests in Cypress. So this is a sample uh, template spec file that will be created when we create a spec file in using Cypress app. So it contains yung describe block natin, which accepts a string and a function. Inside it, we can see the get block, which also accepts a string and a function. So here, the it block is actually our test case. So our test case is name, passage, and inside that are the Cypress commands na, which is our actual test setup. So here we are saying, we are telling Cypress to visit the example that Cypress provided, and then do get this H1 and assert that it has text of efficiency. Also, one of my favorite things about Cypress, because you can do English assertion. So kung babasahin natin, we can already talk about text kung ano yung ginagawa ng step na yan. So these are some of the bundled libraries in Cypress. So we have the long possibilities in that. That's why we have access to describe, context, and the hooks like before each and after each. We also have child, which gives us the ability to visualize sources. We mentioned a while ago that we can stop network requests sa Cypress. So we can do that by using the intercept command. So here we are saying we are instructing Cypress to intercept the post request slash API slash user and use this provided object for its response. And this also blocks the request from reaching server. So mas mabilis yung test natin since we are not waiting for responses anymore. Since we are talking about the intercept command, let's quickly check paano natin magagawa yung spying using Cypress. So the first line, we are effectively doing spying on the request sa user slash group. And then after that, we can tell Cypress to let the request continue to server, and then we can now assert yung mga value na. So yung last one, when not using the additional function, it blocks the request from reaching the server, but we also have the ability to control and send it to the server as well. And we also have the ability to throttle API responses, which is very, very useful kapag nagsisimulate tayo with work conditions like slow internet connections. We can do that as well. So every Cypress test is an independent isolated test by default. So it means that every time we run our Cypress test, we are using a fresh version of our application. It also means that walang cache or local storage na pupunta dun sa ibang mga test cases natin. This also means that there are test steps na kailangan natin i-implement. Since hindi naman kaya yung cache, yung storage data sa ibang test cases natin. Luckily, we have MOA embedded in Cypress, so we have access to the before each hook. So now it basically tells Cypress na do visit every other test case. So we also mentioned a while ago about creating custom commands. So we can do that in Cypress by accessing Cypress API, this one, and adding it in our commands.js under your support folder. So here we are creating custom command of login, and after that we can use it as a our usual Cypress command method. So here we name it login. For us to be able to use it sa spec file natin, we can use ty.login. Right. So anything used in Cypress for mounting like this object can also be easily organized using Cypress fixtures. So here we can extract yung object natin. Like this one. So we put it inside the login response.json. And yung JSON file na nalagay natin sa fixtures folder. After that, we can use the fixture command that's here. So it makes our code much cleaner and more organized since lahat ng data natin na folder na. So there will be times na our test spec file or test suite will be crowded. And with that, we also have access to the context function. So here, using the context function, we are able to group our test cases. And the best part is recognize siya in command log natin. And we will be able to see this repository of test cases na collapsible din. So Cypress continuous integration. So continuous integration code changes is yung way natin pag-handle multiple code changes from different developers. And then we put it in the central repository, run tests on them for us, and then preventing broken codes, integrating sa main branch natin. So implementing tools like Cypress will provide us useful feedback for debugging, tsaka testing environment natin including UI, APIs, and databases. Again, it also gives the team confidence that related to code changes will not affect yung existing features nila or yung nila. So how can we use Cypress for our CI? This is the example for the integration of Cypress in GitHub Actions. And this is our sample pane that YAML file. So here you can see that on push we are using the Ubuntu image for our test. And then since we are using GitHub Actions, we have access to actions/checkout, which handles all the GitHub related processes. We also have access to Cypress IO, Cypress scripts for GitHub Action that it stores the NPM dependencies and the one actually running the tests. The one you are seeing on the left side of the VS Code editor is yung plug in the GitHub Actions for the VS Code. As you can see, we can see the Cypress test and nagawa natin for that specific branch. And hovering over them, this glow icon will pop up, and clicking it will bring us to the actual Java page. No Cypress. So here we can also see, here we have the sample report Cypress. So this is just a simple report showing the passing test and failing test. So here we can see, I don't know if you can see it, but we have one failing test. So here if we have failing test, Cypress automatically creates the screenshots folder which contains yung kung bakit nag-fail yung that specific test case. Cypress also creates as automatically yung videos para naman dun sa checking yung the rest of the test cases natin. So these are the currently supported CI providers of Cypress. The one we currently using sa project namin is GitLab CI. So we also have AWS code with GitLab pipeline, Service CI, and GitLab Actions. Of course, it's working. So pinakita natin ganun na yung spec reporter which only shows the report in this STL. And since we have Mocha in our Cypress app for testing framework, this also means that any reporter built for Mocha can be used in Cypress as well. Sa project namin, we are using the Mocha Awesome Reporter, which shows all the test results, the timing information, and even the test values in this beautiful HTML document. We also have access to Cypress Cloud. This is actually a paid service, Cypress, but they have limited trial if you want to check it out. And here we can check the past test results. We also can analyze and diagnose our existing tests and reduce our testing time since meron silang parallelization feature. So before we end up this talk, let's talk about some of the best practices to consider if you want to try Cypress. So Cypress encourages us to use the data dash attributes to provide context sa selectors natin and to isolate them from changes in CSS and DAM. So we all know naman na always natin to change over time. That includes yung ID, yung class. Kasi kapag ginamit natin sila, then change, mag-break naman natin yung test natin, which produces a flaky test. So creating data dash CY like this one, data dash CY submit, isolates yung selector natin, which gives us the more confident na hindi ma-affect mga code changes yung testing natin. That is what I did kung usapan. So logging in via the API, although the normal login steps sa API can be included sa before age. So again, yung pamilyarin na natin yung login sa before age, it automatically runs before each test cases. But here, it will take time kasi maraming test cases natin. It will visit the page, enter the user password, and click the button. Doing it over and over again. So sabi natin, 50 times na will take time. With that, using the API for logging will save us time. And we only need to do normal steps to login. if we are testing talaga yung login function, then adding multiple assertions. So Cypress, C is due sa mga bagong yung nag-try yung Cypress. They do this also every other test step or test cases, they different validations like this one. So binavalidate mo the active class format. This is okay for unit tests since mali lang sila. Tapos mabilis lang sila mag-run. So what we can do for end-to-end tests is that we get an element and then assert place all our assertion on those element natin as well. So we asserted the data validation, the class, and the value all in one Cypress command. The reason for this is that inside Cypress, resetting, meaning yung kapag meron tayong bagong test case, which is yung Enablement, resetting test case is much slower than Cypress than adding multiple assertions. Unnecessary phase. So again, Cypress automatically phase for commands and expressions before moving on to other tests. So here, yung CY that way is unnecessary na since we have access na dun sa Cypress. What we can do is to explicitly wait for site intercept like this one. So here we alias, so doing alias in Cypress using that act, and here we are aliasing the intercept get users. From there, we can now explicitly wait for get users instead of using arbitrary wait katulad ng kanina. Kasi yung kanina is will fail over time, lalo na kung bumagal yung server. This response na hinahintay natin will not be sent to us after 4 seconds at the live. So here using the explicit way, hinihintay na talaga yung response natin na bumalik sa application. Alright, so I think that's it for me. The evolving landscape natin. Web editing now is a choice anymore about PSIA. Thank you for being part of my talk, and I look forward to hearing your success about Cypress. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
So thank you, Sir Esmeraldo. So for those of you who have questions, I will have the Q&A portion after all the speakers have presented. So hold on to your questions po muna. And of course, we will be having a short break. Magkakaroon na po tayo ng snack break. For audiences online, we sit tight and rest po muna. And for our audiences here, you can take your snack to the lounge area. Thank you po. Program. Moving on to our next speaker. So our next speaker has 10 years of IT industry experience, handling international projects, telecom, tax collection, healthcare, HCM, artificial intelligence industry with hands-on teaching, experience in manual, automation, and performance testing using agile methodology. Currently, she focuses on building the performance testing capability using load runner, JMeter, and cloud monitoring tools to meet business performance. Tonight, she will be discussing optimized customer experience with performance testing. This afternoon, she will be discussing optimized customer experience with performance testing. And then all welcome. And give a round of applause to Ms. Kamille in the Agregado of Stratpoint. Thank you for the welcome.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. First off, I'd like to ask how many of you have experienced any two applications? Anyone? So, how many have experienced no application? So, for those who raise their hands, can you share your experience? Sir, can you share your experience with no application? So, kasi daw na open, di na nagagaan yung application. So, any other else?
Something app, bill payment, and one will do to bill payment.
Okay. So, at some point, the transactions na getting completed, diba? So, I'm asking those, stories or those stories that you shared, it just illustrates that it's about type 2 performance tests. So those experiences or stories and experience with customer satisfaction. It's about time for us to do performance testing. So I'm Kamille Agregado, and I have more than 5 years of experience with performance testing. So today I'll be sharing all the learnings I had along the way. Alright, let's start. Please. So what is performance testing? Any idea what is performance testing? Anyone? Any guess? Okay. So
testing an application when it's subjected to load or stress.
testing an application when it's subjected to load or stress. Yeah, that is somehow delayed. But performance testing from the word itself meaning testing performance of the application. So in this modern world, we all know that most businesses adopted digital platforms. Before, we used to go to physical stores to buy a product, to make those payments, to do some banking transactions. Now, in just one click, we can do a lot of things. Diba? And in our own convenience, or even if you are at home, we can complete those transactions. So with the convenience that the digital platform brings its customers, give us more reason to do performance testing. Alright? Do you get that? Okay. Next slide, please. So how do we do performance testing? In performance testing, we are determining the speed, the responsiveness, and the stability of the application. So, let's get this. So why do we really need performance testing? We need performance testing because we want to know our application scalability. So what is scalability? So scalability means how many users our application gets low. And then how many users more it stops running. And then how many data we can sustain. So that is application scalability. So the next item why we need performance testing is in application stability. So we will need to know the application stability. What happens if there are more users using the application at the same time? So what happens if there are more users than expected? Does it crash? Does it still working properly? So that is stability. Third item is the confidence. So if you have confidence with your application, of course, you're getting better customer satisfaction. Then apart from that, you can also assess the risk or the issues that your application can have. Then lastly is you can plan to grow your application. So those three things are the items that we need, or the important things that we need to know why we need performance testing. Okay, next slide, please. I have an example here. So I would like to know your thoughts on this example. Sir, in lab. Okay. So I have this example here without performance testing. So when H&M launched the banning collection, wherever lots of people or organized people outside here, physical store. But not just that, they also have a lot of shoppers online to their website. So what happens when that latest launch banning collection? For their website went down. So you can see here, they have a lot of visitors on the site right now. This is due to high level of interest in our collection. So ikaw, as a customer, ano sa tingin mo yung pag-feel mo nung nag-down yung website nila? Disappointed ka, okay. So yung impact nito sa customers is, nagagalit ka, customers are disappointed. And if H&M was able to accommodate yung mga customers nila online, they will have more revenue. Okay, let's explain. So another world example here. So when iPhone 14 launched, their online website crashed. So there was a post here online na the user tried to order 10 times. Pero login broke session, now yung delivery time is delayed. So in short, yung issue nila, yung website na nag-crash, the customers was able to complete their transactions. So, ano pa? So, yung impact pa nun sa mga customers was delivery time is delayed. So, initially they were planning to buy the product and then they're just going to get it within the week. Now, delivery time is delayed. Might take months. Then customers are angry. So, yun yung impact issue na yan sa mga customers. So another real world performance issue here. So here we have the Taylor Swift concert ticket booking. So as we all know, there is a time that they are opening the booking, right? So during that time na mag-open pa lang, so marami nang nagiging time. There are people in the queue, 2,000 people in the queue. And what's happening in that queue is that nakakakuha sila ng gateway error. So, hindi na sila makapag-proceed kasi mas marami pa yung taong pumapasok doon sa waiting room before i-open mismo yung booking. Then another example here was low SIM card online registration. So, sino yung naka-experience ito or naging aware sa issue na ito? Okay. So, low is when they launch the online registration for SIM card. So it fell down after a few minutes. Similarly, the common receipt finder. So before the find. So nung nilaunch na yan, nag-down siya after a few minutes. So what happens is, this company is open, common, and this booking site, they work on those issues within the day. But they don't just work on that. It also has its equivalent costs in fixing those issues. So you know, that's a example of that. Next slide, please. So I have another scenario here. So we could relate more. So let's say we have your project with dealing with account. You're using good finance. Then there were customers na they found out there's a poor performance or ang bagal no response ng good finance. So what happens no? Hindi sila satisfied sa performance. So there is a per second delay equals drop in revenue. So why there's a drop in revenue? Because those customers will move their competitor. So they will move to Grab and proceed or their food. So, next slide. So, ano ba yung walang performance? Based on mga example. So first is loss of revenue. So how does business lose revenue? So they lost revenue by fixing production issues. So if there's any performance issues in production, they will incur additional costs to fix it. They will do additional time. Second, there are cash allocating loans for website. Of course, the transaction will not be completed. They will not need any problem. Okay. Second thing for impact was loss of customers. So how business lost its customers? They lost their customers by if the customer is unsatisfied and if the customer move to their competitors. Ba't sila ng customer because customer move to its competitor. The third thing was loss of productivity. So let's say you have a website that went down. Of course, you cannot access it and you cannot do anything. If you have any timeline, so you'll get delayed, right? So that's loss of productivity. Another thing is the damage to brand. So as we all know, puso yung pagpupost ng issue ngayon sa Facebook. So if your company experiences any issues and there are people who was able to encounter it, of course, they're posted online. And the impact was there are more people who will be aware of your company issue. And not just that, your company lose some confidence at that point because of the issues that are posted to social media. Those are the four things that is the impact without performance testing. So what do we learn with those issues in real world? So we learned that prediction is better than prevention. So why prediction is better than prevention? Because prediction means you're thinking in advance. You're thinking in the future, meaning you're trying to resolve all the issues that could happen in the future. And then prevention is that the issues that are more likely to occur, then you know already how to fix it. So that's the difference of prediction and prevention. So now that we know the impact and the importance of performance testing, I'd like to break down how we do the performance testing. Next slide, please. So what we should performance, ano ba yung test natin sa performance testing? So first is the most frequently used transactions. So yun yung mga pages na lagi natin gamit or maraming tao gamit. Next is most significant transaction of the application. So what is significant? Significant is major functionality of the application. Like login, di ba? So, minsan lang siya pero very important siya. Kaya access the application without the account. Okay? So those two things are the scenarios that we are testing for performance. Types of performance testing. So I have here all the types of performance testing. So this picture or this graph is the actual graph that used for each performance type. So we have spike testing. Spike testing meaning biglang pagtaas ng users. Endurance testing 3 hours, which is long duration test. Then load testing. This is regular testing 1 hour. Stress testing is for breaking the application. Then when it goes down. Then scalability is increasing the user for your application. Let me discuss each type of performance testing. Yeah, so first is load testing. So on this example, you can see that we have a truck that was able to manage load, though it's overloaded. So similarly, on load testing, we are trying to simulate the client expected user. So as we all know, client expectation is always high. So kung mataas ang expectation nila, itatest natin kaya ba ng application na natin? Probably kaya, pero mabagal. Similarly on this truck, it's overloaded, but you can see it will move slowly. Right? So that is load testing. Next slide, please. So for stress testing, we are testing the breaking point of the system. So in this example, we have a train. Will it be able to pass through on the bridge, considering that it's over the capacity? Right? So it's over the capacity, kaya ba tumawid ng bridge? Will we break by bridge or not? So that's similar to stress testing. We're putting an extreme load. Then you'll find where the application is located, or where is the breaking point of the application. Next slide, please. For endurance testing, we have a load here. So, you can see yung truck, travel na, yung load na ng matagal. So, similarly, with endurance testing, we're testing the application for a long duration of time. Then, what we're checking in endurance is the memory. Okay pa ba yung makina ng truck? Okay pa ba yung CPU ng application? Kaya pa yung mag-process ng request? That's what we're checking for endurance testing. Okay. For spike testing, we have a ticketed booking here. So as I discussed earlier, meron tayong schedule for booking. Then before they open it, maghihintay na yung mga tao. And it's on increasing behavior. Diba? So you can see dito, maraming may gabi tayo and may inom. So hinihintay na nila mag-open yung schedule. So in spike testing, we're testing sudden increase of user. So what we are checking here is after increase, will the application continue to work? Yeah, am I able to recover after the spike? So that is spike testing. Next is scalability testing. So for scalability testing, we have a bike here that is carrying a overload of package, but it was able to balance and manage it. Right? So for scalability testing, we are testing the same app, same environment, but in increasing users because we're checking how much our application gets mobile. That's what we're testing for, scalability testing. Next is the performance testing life cycle. So this is similar to SDLC. You all know SDLC. It's similar to SDLC. First is the planning and design. So we'll plan the delivery plan for performance testing. We have the test strategy. Next, we'll analyze the requirements, analyze the requirements that is called the non-functional requirements for performance testing. Then we'll create the project test plan, that is the performance test plan. Then after that, this is where the performance testing comes to picture. The tester will start to create the performance plan. Then once it's created, the tester will start to execute it, then analyze the result, then report any issues. So any issues found should be troubleshooted, should be optimized and tuned. So once it was resolved, it will go to iteration manner. The tester will again execute the test, analyze and report if there's any issues found. So once we're all good with the performance report, we will create the final performance report. Then we will get it signed off with the client or the stakeholders. So once we get the sign off, we will certify and deploy it to production. So performance testing is on the development, execute, and tune base. That's where the performance testing goes. Okay, so this slide I'll be discussing how we are conducting the performance testing. So we have 5 steps. First is recording, correlation, parameterization, test execution, and analyze report. Before recording, in recording, we are creating the performance script. So today we will be using load runner. We will create the performance using load runner. So what do we record? We are recording the business scenario step. So I have here 7 business scenario steps. So each step we will record using the load runner virtual user generator. We have a video.
We will be using LoadRunner performance testing tool. Downloading LoadRunner includes 3 components: analysis, controller, and virtual user generator. We will use virtual user generator. This component is used to create our performance scripts. Let's create a script. Click File, New Script, and Solution. On this window, you will see all the communication protocol that LoadRunner supports. It supports large number of protocols such as web services, API, mobile, Oracle, SQL, SAP, AJAX, and many more. If your application is accessible through web browser, we will use the Web HTTP protocol. Select the protocol and enter the name of your script. Name it based on your scenario. Click Create button. It will display the Solution Explorer and action file selected by default. We will use the action file to store our recording. Click Record and select the recording options. We will put our recording in action file. We will use the Google Chrome browser to navigate. Then we will enter our application URL that we will test. After that, click Start Recording. As you see, recording events will be displayed and Chrome browser will automatically open and navigate to your application URL. Recording events count will continue to increase until the page is completely loaded. It records all the requests in the page. Before we click the Sign In button, we will need to add transaction name. Before every action, we will add a transaction name. This is somehow called step name. Now, click Sign In button. All the requests from Click Sign In will be recorded inside this transaction. We will need to wait till the events count stopped. Once it's stopped, we will click End Transaction. Let's continue on the steps. Add transaction. Do the action. Wait for event to stop.
Okay, so in recording, we should always perform those steps. Okay, adding transaction and then do the action and end the transaction. So those should be
Perform during recording. And once you're done with recording, you can click the stop. So we have the 7 steps here. We're recording the 7 steps. Can you move to the last duration? Yeah. So once we're done on the recording those 7 business steps, we have load runner generated this kind of code. So this is in C language. So you can see here all the transactions that we added, start transaction and end transaction. I think you can make it po para then
You will see our request for all the transaction we have created. Transaction for Click Task Calendar. Transaction for Click Save. And finally, transaction for Logout. That ends the performance script recording tutorial.
okay. So that is the recording from Load Runner. Do you have any question on that one?
you can see all the transactions, 7 transactions inside action file. Okay. So I just want to point out that load runner, we have the components, controller, analysis, and virtual user generator. In recording, we will use the virtual user generator. Okay? Next slide, please. So the next step will be correlation. So what is correlation? So kanina, meron tayong isang recording for one user. So correlation is to make the script work for multiple users. The process of correlation was capturing the dynamic values coming from the server. And yung function niya is web-reg paradigm. Okay. So, ano ba yung mga correlation? Ito yung mga common na dynamic values na nag-change. So, correlation are dynamic values. Okay? Ito yung mga examples of dynamic values. So, we have session ID, access token, authorization,
product ID, account number, and order number. Ito yung mga galing usually sa server na ginamit natin. And ito yung mga identify natin para mag-click yung tag item natin or yung isang product natin. Yeah. Next slide po. This is a video tutorial for correlation.
We already have the script for single user. Now, we will need to ensure that script will work for multiple users by correlating the dynamic values. Create two recording to find the dynamic value. I made this second recording for a different user, which we will use later. Let's start capturing the dynamic value by replaying the script.
So I made two recordings to compare them later on to identify the dynamic values.
We got two errors on replay. Output tab shows that line 197 is returning unauthorized error. In line 197, you will see the failed request during replay. Let's find out why it failed. Click the request, then the snapshot. Snapshot will give you data from both recording and replay. Since we are investigating replay, we will check the response from replay. Response body shows that we are getting 401 invalid token error from the server. Recording response body should be similar to replay response body. Recording shows status 200, which is success, while replay shows error 401. To troubleshoot, we will check if there are missing headers from replay. Replay should have the same headers as recording. Upon comparing, recording has CSRF token, which is missing from replay headers. Now, we will need to add the header on the failing request. Add the header function on top of the failed request. Go to Snapshot. On Recording tab, copy the missing header. Separate the header name on header value. Now that we are done separating the header name and value, let's check other missing headers. From recording, we also found out that authorization header is missing from replay. Add the authorization header on the same request that failed. We are done adding the two missing headers. Let's replay the script to see if the request will be successful. We are still getting error on the same request. Let's check if the value of these two headers are dynamic. Open your second recording. We will compare this recording to our first recording to find the dynamic value. From first recording, get the headers of failed request. I will use text compare tool to compare recording 1 and recording 2 headers. Now, get the failed request headers from second recording. Upon comparing the two recordings, all highlighted in red are dynamic values. They will keep on changing every time a user or different users access the application. We found out that CSRF token and authorization are dynamic values. Let's start to correlate them. On CSRF token header, copy the value and go to code generation. Code generation contains the logs of our recording. From the top, search the first instance of the value to correlate. This is the first instance. Let's copy the whole line and comment it on our script. We will use it as reference later. Now, this value came from response of transaction ID 18. We need to find the request of this transaction ID 18. Copy the response transaction ID. Search the add event for that transaction ID. We are looking for the transaction add event because it contains the request where we are going to put our correlation. Copy the CSRF token that we took from code generation earlier. Add the correlation function on the top of the add event request we found from code generation. Enter the correlation name. Get the left side characters of the value that we want to correlate. These are the left boundaries. The right side characters are the right boundaries. After that, copy the correlation name. Replace the dynamic value or the value that we want to correlate. Let's correlate another value, which is the authorization. This is the response body where we can find the first instance of authorization value. Find the add event of the response transaction ID. Now, put the correlation on top of this request.
Okay, so correlation is the most important part of the performance testing. So that's where we are raising the dynamic value. If we're not raising the dynamic value, these will not work for other users. So, yung syntax kanina, or yung function kanina, that was the function for correlation where we need the left boundary and right boundary. Left boundary is the left side of value you want to correlate. Right boundary is the right side characters of the value that you want to correlate. You have to correlate here, which is authentication and start CSR token. So once we're done correlating them, the script will pass all the 3 requests to the other. You can do that for go back po, yung pag-play.
In replay change. In replay, you can now see the 2 missing headers added with value change.
Okay. So, nag-replay na tayo. After natin we correlate, we click the replay button again there. And then it will go through each request on the script hanggang dun sa 317 na request. So, you can see here, you can verify na nag-pass na yung request na 317 by checking the replay logs here. So this is replay, then you can see this CSRF token. So na-capture na natin yung bagong CSRF token. So paano mo nalaman na siya yung bagong CSRF token? So you can see earlier, yung kino-correlate natin, it starts from 8YT. So now, we capture, dun sa replay, we have CSRF token, UWJ. So after we rerun or replay, so replay means the user tries to log in again. The user do the transaction again. And this time it passed because we have a new SRF token. The next slide.
Already have the script.
Yeah. So I'd like to explain the correlation logic kasi medyo mahirap siya maintindihan. So if you remember earlier, we have recording for one user. So that user, let's say lang an example,
the user logs in. Then after the user logs in, the user is requesting for a session ID from the server. So after the user requested, the server respond with session ID 111. So after the server responded, it will get seen as the user, and so the user gave the 111, and then the user will proceed on the next business set. Then the user will be able to use the same session ID set by server earlier, which is 111. So after that, the same session ID until the last step will be. So it will pass on recording because that is for one. Then after that, the user tries to log in again. But this time, it failed. You can see file here, it failed. So why does it fail? So the user tries to log in. So I need session ID. The user is asking for session ID, and the server gives a different server and session ID after that second login. Then the user decided to continue with the next request, but the same session ID was still the previous session ID from recording, which is 111. So once the user tries to log in and then click the other, it was failing because the user was asked to the old session ID, which is 111, and not the session ID given by the on step 2, which is the. Now, the correlation part is we need to correlate the dynamic value set by server to it. So that ID or that value to be used by the user on succeeding request. So that the user was succeeding request. So we fix correlate to. So this is how it looks like on the after correlation. The user logs in for the third time and then was asking for the session ID. The server gave the session ID, and then the collection was able to capture the session ID given by the server. Then the user was able to proceed with the next request using the session ID given by the server RSA from step 2. Then after that, the user was able to successfully complete the transaction until the step 7 of the business model. So that's the logic on the correlation in capturing the dynamic value. Right? So after correlation, we will have to parameterize our input data. So parameterization is the placing input data. So if you have multiple data, you may want to replace those input data with different or unique data for each user. So here we have this as the parameter. We will use the same transaction for parameterization.
To do that, we will need to parameterize the tasks. Go to Parameters. Click New. Enter the parameter name. Click Create Table. Click Edit with Notepad. Add at least 3 tasks for 3 days. Control Save then Close. You now have 3 data for 1 parameter. Click Select Parameter by Name. Close. Now, replace the input data with the parameter created. This parameter can be any of those 3 data we added. This is the end of parameterization tutorial.
That's the parameterization for load runners. We're using it if you want to pass different data for different users. The next step is test execution. So on this test execution, we will now start to simulate multiple users. So using our script earlier, we will use it for 3 users. So the requirement here was to simulate 3 users submit tasks for So the task was the one that we parameterized earlier. So this is what we're going to do during the test execution.
Let's run our test by adding tasks for 3 users in 3 days. We will use Load Runner controller to simulate multiple users. Select Run Virtual Users by number. Add and select the script we want to run. Quantity is the number of virtual users. Load generator is the machine where we are going to run the test. Update the virtual users. We will run the test for 3 users. Each user will start the transaction or ramp up every 10 seconds. As you can see on the graph, each user will start every 10 seconds. Once all users are up, they will start adding their tasks at the same time. Let's set duration to run until completion. Since we only have 3 tasks to add per user, we will add the tasks for 3 days for 3 users. Click SLA to set the performance response time goal. Select all the transactions we want to measure. Add the expected response time for each transaction. Click Finish and we are done adding the SLA. We are done setting up our scenario in controller with 3 users. We can now run our script. You can see that the first user started. After 10 seconds, the second user will start. On another 10 seconds, the third user will start. We now have the 3 user running the application. These are the current transactions of each user. Each count will increase as the user continues to perform each step on the application. Now, we have 1 user who completed adding 1 task. The past transaction will continue to increase until the test completes. You could also add some graphs for better analysis. The test is done. These are all the total success steps or transactions done by 3 users. Let's now check if the test reflects on the application. As you can see, we have successfully added the 3 tasks for 1 user. It was also successful for the second user. This ends the test execution tutorial.
Okay, so test execution is the main part of performance, and we're using a controller to simulate users. So we can simulate thousands or millions of users using the controller or load runner. So that is very important. So you can see we have 7 steps here from this scenario. So those 7 steps will perform by users. Next slide. So the final step was the analyze report. So based on our execution earlier, we will analyze the result from the controller.
If a test report summary. Load runner analysis is one of load runner component. It will analyze the test execution and generate a result with graphical formats. Save the report to HTML so we can open it on browser. This graph shows when users started every 10 seconds. This table shows all the steps where the transactions executed. This is the SLA status. Green means expected response for each transaction is met and below 5 seconds target. This is the response time of each transaction and they are within our SLA. This running V users graph shows the ramp up, steady state or busy time that they are doing the transaction then ramp down. Transaction summary shows the count of each completed steps for all 3 users. Each user logs in on the application 3 times and add 3 tasks. Multiply it to 3, it will have a total of 9 transactions for each steps. Average transaction response time will show the data points of response time for each transaction. Here, it shows that the click sign step has the highest response time with the rest of the transaction. To summarize our test, all 6 transactions for 3 users were passed and within 5 seconds SLA. Step click sign in has the highest response time, which is 2 seconds.
Okay, so this report is what we are trying to
Analyze in performance testing. So SLA here is the goal. So goal for SLA is the expected response from the client or from the users. So we have 5 second goal, then the SLA status for only all pass plus the response time is below 5 seconds. So response time is only 90th percent column. So that's how we analyze the performance report. Any question? None? Okay. Next slide. So I wanted to discuss the summary of the load simulation. How do we really simulate it in performance testing? So remember the requirement was 3 users. So we have 3 users, and then we have one script from log in to log out, performing the 7 steps. So each user will do those 7 steps every transaction. So the user will log in until log out, log in, add the task, and then log out, then log in again, add the task, and log out, similarly to the third transaction. So those 3 transactions were completed by one user, similarly to the second and the third one. So how do we analyze the transaction summary? So you can see there were 9 pause login or navigate URL or login. Because if you count all of this, it's a total of 9. So that's how we simulate the load in the controller. Any question? None? Okay, next slide. So what do we check in performance testing? These are the metrics that we're checking in performance testing if there's any performance downgrade. So first was the SLA. This is the expected performance from the client. The second was the transaction response time. Is the actual response time of the test that we did for the transaction or business transaction that we have executed. So is it against the SLA or not? So that's what we are checking for performance testing. The next is the pass and fail transaction. So those pass scenarios or pass set and fail steps. Error rate is also important. There should be a threshold in performance testing. So if it was within the threshold, then the test was failed for error rate. Then throughput, we are measuring the number of transactions made by the user. And CPU utilization, this utilization was important in performance testing. So we're measuring the CPU utilization if it can process more work under heavy load. Then similarly to memory utilization, do we still have enough memory or are we having insufficient memory already because of the heavy load? So those are the KPI or metrics that we're checking for performance testing. Okay, so what business value do we bring to our clients in performance? First is the faster the application, the more revenue it makes. So meaning the customer stays in your application, they can complete the transaction, then there will be repeat users who will use your application. So in short, you will earn more revenue or profit. The next is to engage more customers with high-speed application. So good user experience will attract more number of users. So if you have circle of friends, we can like share our feedback with this application, then we can attract more number of users of the application. The third was to sustain the customer satisfaction. So we want a customer to be satisfied and keep using the application or repeat visit on the application because that's where we are going to make more revenue. Then competitive advantage. So we're giving competitive advantage on your business because you're giving customer satisfaction. And then if you're giving customer satisfaction, they will not move with your competitors. Then lastly was save cost. So the business was able to save costs because they will not need to spend money on any production issues related to performance testing. So those are the business value that we bring to client. So I have a case study here for performance issue. So it's evaluation of the Philippine government website. So they were trying to evaluate this government website using the online performance tool. Then they will going to provide their analysis or recommendation to improve this e-government website. So I have added the source for this. You can go to the website. So on this graph, they have differentiated each performance tool. So you can see that the PSIA is the slowest website. In website grader, it has 13 seconds, page speed in second, so 13 seconds, and GT metrics in 5 seconds, and 4.91 on Pingdom. So next is we have SSN, SSN or PRC. Field help was the second one who is slow based on their evaluation or the base. So those are the comparison for this three performance tools. Next slide, please. So what they did after their analysis, they have recommended optimization for each government agency. But all of them, the main recommendation was to optimize and compress images and files and do browser caching. So once they do those fixes or once they follow those recommendations, their website or application will improve. So this is the last slide. So I have given an activity here. You can follow it at home. So you can download LoadRunner, then just follow how to install it. Similarly, this tool, this is from LoadRunner. You can try this tool and install it on your laptop. Then try to create two reporting, compare them, then correlate it, parameterize, then simulate the three users until completion. Then you can generate and analyze a report. So LoadRunner supports 50 users, 50 users speed. You can try it. You can try this our login, search flight, and book flight. Then try the users to book a flight. So that's the end of the session. Thank you everyone. Thank you for coming today. So you may reach me through this email. Love to do business solution review. So thank you also to PSIA and to our company for this opportunity. Thank you.
So thank you for that, Christina. Before we proceed with the we asked sorry for the late announcement, but for those who want to connect to the Wi-Fi connection, you may select the name FEIU clearance, then yung password ko is all caps na PSIA, as in ako na symbol, then low caps na FEU Tech 2022. Yes po. So wait na lang po natin yung presentation ng server natin. We'll proceed. Thank you. And to ask po, are you okay po? Okay po ba tayo? Good pa? Don't worry, after po ni Sir Vernon, magkakaroon ng question and answer. So you may, habang nag-answer po, you may formulate your questions for our speakers. And after the Q&A, we will have, of course, our speakers. So wait na lang po natin yan. Thanks po. So, while waiting for Sir Vernon's presentation, I would like to introduce him. So, our last speaker for this evening is a quality engineer with experience working in the innovation industry. He has handled manual and automated testing of applications spanning digital commerce, network community, platforms, marketing platforms, white label architecture, property management, and healthcare. He also advocates and provides trainings for test automation. So tonight, we will be discussing, do you see what I see, visual testing with Percy. So let us all welcome, give a warm round of applause to Sir Vernon Cenzon from UNI.
Gagawa.
Duplicates. Thank you, Kamille, for that introduction. And hello, good evening ulit sa lahat. Katulad ng banggit ni Kamille, I hope everyone is having a good time. Yung mga live natin na audience dito and also yung mga nasa bahay. Yes, okay. So, gusto ko lang tanongin, kumustahin ko lang, is everyone learning something new today? Meron ba tayong mga natutunan ng mga bagong bagay?
Yes.
Yes? Good. Yung mga nasa live, no? Hindi ko sure kung pwedeng mag-emoji react, no? Pero send lang kayo na smiley if you're learning something. I hope you're learning something new. At least ako, marami akong natutunan so far. And most importantly, is everyone having fun? Nag-enjoy ba lahat? Di ba? Okay, so apart from yung learning experience na binibigay ng PSIA sa atin, at least ako naniniwala ako na learning should be fun. Dapat, in addition to learning, na-enjoy din natin yung natutunan natin. Okay, so katulad nung nabanggit ni Kamille kanina, I am Vernon. I've been in the industry breaking software for a living since 2015. And iba-iba na rin yung mga opportunities and mga na-handle ko na applications ranging from digital commerce, meron din mga fintech applications, mga white label architecture, property management, healthcare applications as well. Also, I've had the opportunity to conduct test automation projects. Okay, without further ado, like what Kamille said, ang topic na introduce ko sa inyo ngayon is visual testing, which is another realm of software testing. I hope na may matutunan kayo dito. I understand na our audience is a mix of different mga professors and professionals. That's good. I hope that you pick something up and I hope that you have fun along the way. Speaking of fun, gusto kong simulan yung ating talk today or session today with a mini game. Alam natin lahat ang spot the difference, di ba? Yes? Meron ba hindi nakakaalam nito? Okay, so dalawang picture left and right. May differences yung mga yun. Okay, and then try natin to identify as many differences as we can within the given time limit. Actually, ito, nasa mga 20 seconds lang para may trail. And please, mag-participate. Let's make this lively. In fact, I have here my CEO and co-founders in this mix who will be helping me to give out prizes dun sa mga sasali dun sa game natin. Guys, napanood niyo ba yung Apple event kahapon? In-unveil yung iPhone 15 na bago at saka yung watch? Nakita niyo ba yun? Okay, buti nakita niyo. Wala. Tinatanong ko lang. So meron yung mga prizes natin dito. May mga ball pens dito. May mga tumblers tayo dito. May mga t-shirts tayo dito. So I hope na mag-join kayo. Okay. Sige. And I hope everyone likes sushi. When I transition to the next slide, automatically yung 20-second timer will start. Everyone is a participant for now. And then gusto ko lang, within the 20-second timer, try to identify or spot as many differences as you can. Then mamaya tatawag ako ng mga people na gustong mag-raise ng hands. Okay, ready? Ready guys? Okay, ready na. Grabe. Timer, okay. Ganun to the next slide. Timer starts now. 20 seconds. Spot the difference, guys. Sa mga medyo nahihirapan, you can come closer kung hindi nyo masyado nakikita. 10 seconds. Tapos video ko pa lang pala kayo, wala palang difference dito sa mga. Okay. 2, 1. Okay, sige. Meron ba gustong magsabi kung ilan yung nila or generalist ko na lang? Meron ba gustong magsabi? Sir, sige. Tatlong difference. Okay, thank you, sir. Meron bang mas nakahanap na mas mataas pa sa tatlong difference? Sir, 4? Okay. Madaya na dapat tinanggal ko na dito kasi naghahanap pa rin. Okay, sinong isa? Sige, last one. Higher than 4? 4 lang. Anything higher? Going once na yung 4? Going twice? Okay, thank you, sir. Sige, bigyan natin na lang ng pens silang dalawa. Thank you sa pag-participate. So, 4 ang highest. Pero, yes, online. Sige, lalamog natin yung pen nila. Ilan yung nakita niya, no? Ilan yung nakita nila? Online. Oh, no. Ilan may bulta natin?
Sige, marami pa.
Sige. Sige, key in your answers lang, no? Let's participate. Pero, sige, sa Q&A na lang. Pero I will reveal yung answer.
May 7.
May 7? Grabe. Okay, reveal ko yung answer, ha? There are a total of 9 differences sa dalawang images na to. And makikita natin na naka-highlight sila dun sa screen. Yan, nakikita ko yung mga sabi na ako, yung difference. Okay, good job, guys. Hopefully, itong game na to, no, apart from being fun, naka-instill sila sa ating lahat ng sense of what visual testing is. So, ano nga ba talaga ang visual testing? Simple lang. When we visual test, we evaluate yung visual aspects of a software application. Okay, applications here can be websites, can be mobile applications as well, can be desktop applications, essentially anything that has a graphical user interface. Ano yung intention? The intention is to ensure through the test na visually intended yung user interface, yung user experience, even UI UX. And then another primary goal is to identify any potential na mga defects or visual regression bugs na tinatawag nila. Okay, any inconsistencies that may affect yung usability ng website kung paano siya gamitin ng mga customers ninyo, mga end users ninyo. Given yung description na yun, this is non-functional testing, so we're not testing yung talagang technical capabilities ng website natin. Kumbaga, we're not testing kung gumagana yung login, yung add to cart. Even so, this is still a crucial part of testing, even kahit non-functional siya. Kasi ito yung look and feel. Diba? Ito yung una makikita ng mga customers natin. Like with food, diba? You eat with your eyes first. Now, visual testing can be an umbrella term. Medyo malaki siyang realm, no? Pero I'll try to break down yung key aspects niya for everyone. So when we visual test, we consider UI elements. What are UI elements? Yung mga buttons, yung mga menus, yung mga images, no? Kung naka-display ba sila correctly and in the proper locations dun sa website natin, hindi lang sila nagliliparan kung saan-saan. Of course, you want your, for instance, login button to be easily seen by their users, hindi yung nakatabi lang siya dun sa isang corner ng website. Layout and alignment, we specifically or most especially sa mga paragraphs or mga text, no, we try to ensure na naka-layout sila ng tama, readable sila, no? Color and styling, we're checking yung colors ng fonts, kung readable, sometimes yung mga fonts na yellow, syempre mahirap basahin. Even yung colors ng website, no, yung contrast. We have some users sa mga websites natin that are impaired visually, di ba? Yung mga colorblind na they can only see certain colors or no colors at all. We still want the website and the experience to work for them when we use our product. Responsiveness. So ngayon, hindi na lang constrained ang mga users natin to using yung applications on computers or laptops, no? In fact, I would say yung majority ng users natin naka-mobile device na ngayon, be it a smartphone, a tablet. So imagine iba-ibang mga screen sizes yung mga yun. We need to make sure still na yung website natin renders or displays properly regardless kung nag-view siya sa phone or sa tablet or sa laptop. Images and multimedia, especially dun sa mga websites like YouTube that are heavy on the multimedia. We need to make sure na walang broken images, all the videos are loading as expected. Factor din natin yung compatibility sa device and sa operating system. No, nabanggit ko kanina na users are viewing websites on different devices na. Also on different operating systems. iOS for yung mga Apple devices, Android for Android devices. Windows, possibly most common, but we have users viewing websites on Mac OS or even Linux. No, iba-ibang mga popular operating systems natin. If your website is not constrained to one geographic location, we also factor in yung localization as part of visual testing. Does your website render correctly even in other locations kapag nag-translate na to another language yung content ng website natin? And lastly, cross-browser testing. Now, so realistically speaking, hindi lang naman laging Google Chrome yung ginagamit na natin ng users natin. Gumagamit din yung iba ng Firefox, Safari, at kung ano-ano pa iba, Opera, browser, Brave. And all of these browsers render websites or elements slightly differently. Minsan hindi siya noticeable, no, pero they render slightly differently across different websites. So given yung definition and yung key terms na yun, ng key aspects na yun ng visual testing, how then do we begin to implement visual testing into our workflow, especially sa testing, no, kung hindi pa natin talaga siya na-implement? The quickest way na pwede nating i-implement yung visual testing is, of course, manual visual testing. So medyo self-explanatory. When we say manual visual testing through purely human eyes. And I'd like to highlight dito yung word na purely human eyes. As in, tao lang talaga yung nag-analyze dito without the aid of code, without the aid of any tools or frameworks. No? Just yung tao lang na tumitingin between, let's say, two images na ito yung isang expected, ito yung actual na itsura ng website. So when the human tester visually evaluates a site, most often merong reference na ginagamit yung tester. This is what we can call as yung, for now, no, may technical term siya later, pero for now, we can call this as yung expected layout ng website. So what are these expected layouts, or we can call them as sources of truth? One example can be wireframes. Like yung nakikita natin dito sa taas, no? Parang drawing lang siya. These are the most simplest and yung pinaka-raw na representation of a website, usually drawn by UI or UX people, yung mga designers natin. Natin. These can be sources of truth. Another source of truth can be prototypes or mock-ups. No? If you guys are familiar with tools like Figma or InVision, even Adobe, no? UI UX people often produce prototypes there that can be used for source of truth. And most importantly, at least for me, yung pinakamahalagang source of truth would be yung user stories. Kasi especially if you're working in an agile environment sa team natin, or sa team ninyo, andun sa loob ng user stories yung detailed requirements for every element. Ano styling na itong button na to, ano styling na itong menu na to, ano itong text na to. So we have sa taas dito yung source of truth, okay? And then we have dito sa baba na to yung actual yung actual na website na ini-evaluate natin against the source of truth. Na-clip lang siya ng konti to make it fit on the slide, pero this is a whole web page, no? Actually, you can, if you want, no, you have your devices with you, and if you're connected to the internet, you can try to visit. Siguro i-highlight ko dito yung i-paste ko lang dito guys. Okay, so you can try to visit this actual site right now. HTTPS, di pa siya nakikita. HTTPS, GoDaddy tayo, yes. So HTTPS omnomnom.godaddysites.com. Try to visit it now. Actually, mamaya may activity tayo regarding this one. Okay? And just, have a feel of the site. Browse lang kayo dyan. It's a simple site. Wala, for testing purposes only, just yung homepage na nakikita niyo dito, and then I think mayroon isang menu yun sa loob. Pero just get a feel, no? Ano yung mga nakikita niyo mga buttons, yung mga icons, ano yung mga images, ano yung mga text na nakikita niyo dyan, yung mga fields na pwedeng pag-inputan ng data. Okay? For those also joining sa live natin, try to go here as well. Okay. So moving forward, I included here lang no, yung example no, website na yan. And right now, if you're trying to go through it, I would imagine na ang dami niyo nakikita elements. Itong nakikita natin ngayon is the upper part of the site, and then ito is the lower part of the site. Okay? So I'd like to highlight, mapapansin niyo bakit dalawang magkalahati siya images, left side and right side. So yung left side, yun yung kaninang nabanggit ko na expected, or pwede natin sabihin the baseline or the reference image. That's the source of truth in this example. Ito yung tama. Yung nasa right side, ito yung actual, or in technical term for it is yung candidate image. Ito yung tinetest natin. So ito yung comparison. Spot the difference din. So ganun din siya. And the same goes din sa lower part. Okay, imagine a tester going to this site, comparing itong dalawang versions ng website na to. Let's say for an experienced visual tester, it would take that tester around 60 seconds. Now, 1 minute to validate this entire screen. But yung 60 seconds na yun might not include setup time. Ano yung setup time? Yun yung involved sa pagbukas ng browser, pag-navigate dun sa website na to, kung kailangan niyang mag-test pa ng webpage, mag-navigate pa sa panood sa mga menu na yun, kailangan niya pang pinutin yung buttons na yun. Yung mga kung ano mang preconditions or prerequisites, no? Hindi pa included yun sa 60 seconds. And that's just, let's say sa Chrome lang siya nag-test. So Windows na device na siya nag-test, or Windows na laptop. What if merong issues sa network? Mabagal mag-load yung mga images. What if dahil sa bagal ng load, bagal network, hindi nag-load yung mga pictures din? Baka magka-false positive pa. Paano kung kailangan i-require siya mag-test nito sa Firefox or iba pang mga browser? Okay, if we factor in yung mga yun, hypothetically speaking, let's say 3 minutes, no? 3 minutes considering all of those factors for an experienced tester. Okay? So, alam naman natin na hindi lang yung mga yun yung considerations. There are lots more considerations. Ang daming browsers na nabanggit ko kanina, ang daming OS, ang daming devices. No? What if pagod yung tester? What if ang dami natin, imposible, di ba? Hindi ba nangyari naman natin? Anyway, so, what if pagod yung tester? Makaka-apekto yun for sure dun sa output niya. And, if we do the math lang, kung tama yung math ko, no? 60 seconds for 4 of the most popular browsers multiplied by 2 operating systems, popular, okay, multiplied by yung 6, kasi nasa desktop siya. Multiplied by 6 of the most popular screen resolutions. The desktop, iba-iba size ng mga desktop natin. Would be around 2,880 seconds or 48 minutes dun sa experience tester na yun. 48 minutes para lang sa isang web page. Grabe, 48 minutes. And sa isa lang na device, paano, di ba, ang daming device na kailangan mo. Okay? So, I hope, no, medyo, ini-impose ko sa ating lahat yung significance or challenges. And, like what I said earlier, this is something that we need to really consider kahit non-functional testing siya. Kasi it does happen in real life. There are real life cases na may visual bugs or defects. It happens also on the most popular services or platforms. So, hindi natin masasabi, yes, yung functionality works, yung website works, pero kung ito yung bubungad dun sa user mo sa umpisa pa lang, di ba, medyo turn off. Di ba? So, how then can we solve the problem? Siyempre, yung problem natin ay masasolve by hiring more people. Yan. Alam naman natin na kapag merong isang task, let's say meron tayong isang task that takes 1 hour, 60 minutes, for one person to complete. Pag meron kang 60 people, 1 minute na lang yung task na yun, di ba? Joke lang, hindi. Huwag nyo gagawin. So, ideally, sa real life, hindi naman talaga ganun yung situation. And, most likely, yung mga companies or yung mga organizations, they won't have enough resources to even hire more people. So, this is also a problem still. Ano ba talaga yung totoong solution if not to hire more people? The solution is, huwag na lang tayo mag-visual test. Skip na lang. Okay na. Joke lang, mas lalo yung gagawin yan. Sabi ko nga kanina sa inyo, important yung visual testing. One of the possible solutions can be automation of visual testing. We automate visual tests. Automated visual testing is visual testing done with the aid of code or tools or frameworks. Keyword, with the aid. Wala pa lang nakalagay with the aid. With the aid of tools or frameworks. Later, I will explain to you kung bakit yun yung. So, marami tayong right now sa market, iba-ibang available tools and frameworks to achieve this very purpose. Actually, sobrang dami, hindi kasya lahat ng mga logos dito. Pero some of these you might already be familiar about. Andyan si Selenium, andyan si Cypress na natutunan natin kanina sa first talk. And then there are other tools or frameworks that we can use. No? These, some of them, or most of them, mga functional testing frameworks yan, nag-test ng functionality. But through the use of libraries or plugins, we can extend them to achieve visual testing. Kunyari, plugins in Cypress or even Selenium library. But for this talk, we will be focusing specifically dito sa tao na ito, yung kumikindat dun sa gitna. And siya ay walang iba kung hindi si Robot Framework. Quick background kay Robot Framework. Robot Framework, okay, is a open source, so free, yun yung most important part. Open source and keyword-driven test automation framework. Ano ibig sabihin ng keyword-driven? It means na yung syntax, yung way of writing code kay Robot Framework is close to the natural language. Malapit na siya sa English. Ano yung benefit nun? Kapag ganon, mas maraming tao yung pwedeng makagamit ng framework na to in a relatively short amount of time. Yung learning curve is not that steep. Kasi close to the natural language. Later, I will show you an example. Given that, virtually anyone in your development team can use it to create test cases or to at least to appreciate your tests. That includes yung developers, yung QAs, even non-technical people like yung mga project managers, product owners can appreciate robot tests. Now, itong session na to won't be a robot framework session. I won't go into much detail other than that. Pero if you're interested, you can visit yung link na nasa box si robot. Okay, sabi ko close to the natural language. Ano yung ibig sabihin? Here is an example of a basic test case kay robot framework. Yes, code yan. And this is an automated test. So pag na-run mo yan, makikita mo, magically mag-appear yung browser and mag-test na siya for you. Ganyan kasimple. So i-highlight ko ito mamaya, pero right now, just know, if you can see sa line number 8, open browser to this URL, input text to this search field, itong text na to, press a key on your keyboard, wait until yung page contains the results, and then itong assertion na to or validation, the most important part of the test, yung page should contain this. Ganun lang kasimple. Okay, so this is a functional test. It tests functionality. Okay, how do we implement visual testing naman sa kanya? Before ko pakita yung code yan, gusto ko i-run through sa inyo yung game plan natin. Para tayo mag-visual test, ano yung flow na susunod? Okay, simple lang naman yung flow. It first starts with the automated test case being executed. Dito siya. And then yung code natin, it will take a screenshot of the web page. Okay, yung screenshot na yon, that will be called a candidate image. No? Yung candidate, remember yung nasa right side. Now, may decision point. Meron bang existing baseline or reference? Ayun na. So, kung merong existing baseline or reference, or in other words, yung nasa left side ng image kanina sa spot the difference. Kung walang ganon, pupunta siya sa flow na to sa baba, okay? And then the candidate image will become the new baseline automatically. And then the test will pass. Ano ibig sabihin ng scenario din? It means na your test is seeing that page for the first time. Wala pa siyang reference. And yung screenshot na nakuha niya, that will be the source of truth para sa mga succeeding ones. Okay? Now, paano kung merong baseline? So, may comparison na naman nangyari. Candidate will be compared against the baseline. Now, may difference. What if meron difference na ma-detect yung code natin? Decision point again. Yung differences ba na yun ay intended or not? So kasi minsan, magkakaroon talaga ng change yung candidate natin. Kasi let's say, meron talagang i-introduce na bagong button dun sa webpage. Or meron tatanggalin na text dun sa webpage niya. May change. And the change is intentional. So in that case, the test or the candidate image will become the new source of truth, yung new baseline, and then the test will pass. So ito yung scenario na. Okay, otherwise, kung yung na-detect yung change is not intentional, meaning, wait lang, ba't may nagbago dito na button or na-follow? Hindi nyo in-expect. So the test will fail. And most importantly, ma-highlight yung differences. Okay? And, sorry, skip ko pala ito kanina, pero there is also a flow kung wala naman talagang na-highlight na difference at all, in which case, automatically magpapasa. Okay, simple. Ang kwento lang naman dito is just baseline candidate. Spot the difference. So here's what yung code looks like, pero isi-skip ko na muna ito, mamaya papakita ko na sa inyo slide demo. And then here is an example of what the report looks like. So as you can see, medyo similar siya dun sa spot the difference natin na merong mga naka-highlight. Okay, meron naka-highlight yung mga differences. Yung left part of the screen, the page, ito yung source of truth. Okay, and then yung right side, ito yung candidate. And yung code natin, it detected visual changes. Kunyari, itong mga nasa taas, nasa candidate lang siya, pero wala siya dito sa original. Itong mga buttons na to, and so on and so forth. Some of these we might miss kapag manual visual testing. Okay? So, pakita ko lang sa inyo, very, very quick, how it would work sa totoong buhay. Magka-try tayong mag-run ng test. Okay, lakihan natin siya ng konti. Okay. Okay, so okay. I hope readable siya. Bear with me na lang. So dito, nakikita natin isang example of the robot framework test case with visual testing. What's special about this? First, ito sa taas, again, this won't be robot framework training, pero I'll try to highlight it to you. Sa taas, we do imports. So nag-import tayo ng mga plugins or libraries na ginagamit natin kay robot to achieve our purpose of visual testing. So to be specific, ito yung library na ginamit natin, which is DocTest library. This is another open source library for robot framework. No? Parang it was created by some contributor kay robot. And we also have this library, this Selenium library. Bakit? Kasi robot framework in order for robot framework to test web pages, which is what we're trying to do right here, kailangan natin ng way to interact with the web page or the browser. So doon papasok sa Selenium. Kasi si Selenium, it enables interaction with or automation of browsers. So dito sa baba, we just specify lang saan bang folder papasok yung mga screenshot natin, candidate and yung reference. And then finally, and most importantly, yung test case natin. So yung test case na to, itong first few lines na to, okay, ito yung functional part. Opening browser, inputting text, searching for a keyword, wording, pressing enter key, and then waiting for the result. Now, ito na yung visual test natin. Nagka-capture tayo ng screenshot, and then we treat that as the candidate image, okay, yung flow. Here's the flow. Ayan siya. Beta candidate image. Next, decision point. Does the baseline exist? Kung walang baseline, the candidate will be renamed as the baseline. Okay, andin niya sa baba. Okay, what if there is a baseline? Comparison. So, baseline versus candidate. And then, re-report na niya kung may changes. After natin i-run ito, ma-highlight yung changes and then tayo, as the human testers, will come in and analyze yung changes natin. Remember, sinabi ko kanina, aided lang yung testing na to. Pero, it helps us to make it more efficient. Okay, let's try to run. Simple run command. We call si robot lang. And then, nilalagay ko lang dito kung saan niya i-store yung report or yung output. And then, yung test file na ipaparan ko sa kanya, which is si demo_doc_testline. Okay, so sa run na to, yung screenshot folder natin walang laman. Itong scenario na sinisimulate natin is first pass. Wala pang source of truth. Okay? So, ito nakita natin ngayon. Alright, na nagpa siya. And then what does the report look like? Actually, mamaya ko na papakita yung report kasi hindi pa siya substantial ngayon. Walang comparison na nangyari. Pero we know na may baseline image na na-create. Ano yung tsura naman? Ito siya. Yung Google search result. Yan lang naman yung ginawa ng test. Okay? So, next, try natin i-rerun yung same test na to. Okay. Okay. Try natin i-rerun yung same test without modifying anything. Trying to simulate the case where may nagbago dun sa site. Let's see kung meron siyang ma-detect na code, visual change. So, hindi nila nakikita pero may nag-open na browser sa atin. Okay. Nag-fail and sabi niya, the compared images are different. And if you notice yung screenshot folder dito, merong candidate image na na-create. Ano yung tsura ng comparison? Okay, so ito yung itsura ng report ni Robot. Actually, ito yung detailed report, meron pang mas simplified report dito. Pero dito natin makikita, okay, yung differences na na-detect niya through doc test library. Left side is the baseline, source of truth. The right side is the candidate. See, merong nawala dito. Let's say it's a visual regression issue. Even yung text na validate niya kung nagbago. Okay. So that's an example of how we can achieve automated visual testing or aided visual testing through robot framework. Okay. Now, gusto kong itanong sa inyo. Did you notice anything about the test run? Let's say sa way kung paano nag-run yung test. Sa pag-store niya ng mga images, ng mga baseline and database. So, kung na-notice niyo, no, mano-mano niya ang generate, and then ikaw as the human tester, papasok ka, analyze mo yung results, and then dun sa flow natin, kung ipapasa mo siya, ikaw din yung mag-update ng baseline, mano-mano, di ba? So, you would do that every time. May parang manual effort pa rin doon. What if maraming web pages na kailangan test? And notice also, isang web browser lang ginamit natin, Google Chrome lang. What if marami iba-ibang browsers and resolutions? So those things, we can achieve them or we can address them through code. No, meron tayong babaguhin sa code, pero medyo significant overhead siya kasi maraming config code. Fortunately, meron pang isang tool for visual testing, okay, na pwede natin gamitin that will help us, and yun ay walang iba kundi yung nasa title slide ng talk na to, which is the Percy. Hindi itong Percy na to. So, itong Percy na to, okay? Itong maliit na hedgehog na tool na to. So, ano ba si Percy? Si Percy ay isang visual testing tool kamukha ni Robot Framework. Ang difference niya, nasa cloud siya. Okay? Hindi siya naka-install sa mga device natin. We can access it like a web application basta may internet tayo. Okay? And then it's designed for automated visual testing of web apps and websites. Ngayon, may support na rin siya for mobile applications as well. And then it helps QA teams to capture visual snapshots and help address and even prevent visual regressions. Okay, so like yung sa robot, this won't be a Percy tutorial, no? And hindi din ako galing sa Percy, no? I'm not trying to sell Percy to you. Pero kung meron man dyan na tiga Percy, naman. Okay, so i-highlight ko lang sa inyo yung mga differences, key and text ng Percy, syempre visual testing kaya ng gawin. It also has support for continuous integration, meaning pwede natin i-hook up yung mga test natin sa, essentially sa code base ng mga developers, okay, para automatically nag-run yung test. It also has support for cross-browser, cross-platform, out of the box. Hindi na natin kailangan mag-configure, i-render na niya agad across different browsers and different screen sizes, pero pwede din natin dagdagan yun. And then meron din siyang streamlined na review and approval workflow, wherein ikaw as the human tester, pupunta ka lang doon sa dashboard niya, analyze mo yung results, and then i-click ka lang na button doon para ma-approve or disapprove yung flow. For more information kay Percy, you can visit percy.io. So I won't go into further detail on that. So what does the dashboard look like? Something like this. Okay, mas intuitive na, may UI na eh. Pero same concept pa rin. Left and right image, baseline and candidate image. And then ang kinaganda nito, mas madaling na-highlight yung differences. So see na-highlight niya na in red dito, and then blur out lang niya yung mga okay naman, yung mga walang differences na detect. Okay? Also notice na you can click these buttons para automatically ma-render on different resolutions or screen size. Automatic based dito sa dashboard. Also, on the upper part, you have the option to switch between browsers. What does it look like on Chrome, on Firefox, okay? And then, ilan lahat ng mga changes na natin. Of course, yung approval workflow natin, kung i-approve mo itong change na to, meaning intended yung change, or kung magre-request ka ng changes, essentially, failed the test case natin. Okay, what does it look like in code? Ito siya. Mas simple lang din. All we need to do is to call one keyword lang or one function lang. Percy snapshot. And ibigay lang natin siya na identifier or label. Ano ba itong mini snapshot niya? And then that's it. Hahayaan na natin na si Percy yung mag-compare ng mga screens na yon, and then i-evaluate na lang natin yung results later on. Okay, I'm going to show this to you mamaya sa demo natin. This is yung implementation ng Percy library para magamit natin siya sa robot training. So what does the result look like kapag nirun na natin? It will look like this one, dashboard natin. So here in this flow, ito yung flow na first time pass, first time run, so wala pang baseline. Let's say in-approve natin to, the next time we run it, it would look something like this. So may comparison na-highlight na niya yung regions kung saan merong changes na detect. And also, I'd like to highlight dito, you can render it then for most popular browsers, two of the most popular screen resolutions. But again, you can change it as well or reconfigure it. It has another view kung saan bina-blur out niya yung mga okay na parts ng web page, and then na-highlight lang niya yung mga merong changes. Okay, so kung compare mo yan mano-mano, imagine. Okay. So I'm going to show it to you very, very quickly lang in real time kung ano yung how it works. Okay. Dito sa test case na to, alright, meron tayo, same test case, this time iba lang yung search keyword na in-enter natin, puppies. Pero notice na wala na yung medyo maraming lines of code kanina na capture screenshot, may if-else condition, may baseline ba, etc. etc. Napalitan na lang ng isang line na Percy snapshot. And then Percy handling steps. Okay? So try natin siyang i-run ngayon. Yung keyword natin would be almost the same dun sa kanina, robot, and then yung path dun sa reports, and then yung file na gusto kong i-run kung nasan yung test ko. Ilalagyan ko rin siya ng tag dito. So, yung tag is one of the capabilities ni Robot Framework na pwede kang mag-select lang ng test case na gusto mong i-run in case yung file maraming laman ng test case. So, nilagyan ko lang ng label, ito na, let's say, copy. And then pag sinabi ko, yung copy test na yun mo, nalagay ko lang siya dito. One of the features nito. And then to finish this command, isasaksak ko lang si Percy sa umpisa, kasi si Percy yung magra-run ng test na. Or no comparison. So that would be npx Percy exec. Parang lang natin siya. npx dahil si Percy ay isang node library, and then si robot ay isang essentially Python siya, Python based. So run lang natin siya. Okay, medyo similar yung magiging output. Okay, so mali yung aking wala yung reports pala. Okay.
Naging copy reports.
Okay, naging pop. Thank you. Visual testing.
Okay.
Sige, delete ko na lang siya. Okay, reports. Include copy and then demo first. Okay, hopefully third time is the charm. Okay, so nag-run na yung robot test natin. Like usual, yung kanina nakita natin. Pero papansin niyo, Percy has started. So, pinasa na niya kay Percy yung mga screenshots, yung run, and then si Percy ang nag-execute. Okay, and then natapos yung test run natin. Makikita natin yung results dito sa URL, yung dashboard na pupuntahan natin. Okay, Percy dashboard. So makita natin dito na pinaprocess ni Percy yung visual changes natin. Okay, so right now what it does behind the scenes is tinatry niyang i-render and then essentially compare yung one page na yon across 4 browsers yung nakita natin kanina. And then also dalawang screen resolutions. Lahat yun nangyayari nasa loob ni Percy. Okay, and then in a while, no, nakita natin yung results na ite-present mo sa atin. Okay, so ito, okay, try ko lang i-open na yung konti. First time pass, okay, so dito wala pang baseline, ito yung candidate. Automatically, we can approve this. Okay, kasi first time run. Pero see, no, dito we can choose to render it on different browsers, Safari. Notice na medyo nagbago ng konti yung display, Chrome, Firefox, and then Edge. Okay, and then yung, let's say, mobile na screen size. Ganyan yung usual niya sa mobile. Okay, and then babalik tayo sa desktop. Okay, and then finally, well, ngayon hindi pa natin makikita. Mamaya, itong toggle na to, makikita natin dyan lahat ng visual. I'm going to go ahead and approve na para maging baseline na siya. Alright, and then run again without any changes. Let's see kung ano yung ma-detect ni Percy na change this time. Okay, so nag-upload siya ng isang snapshot and then ito yung build. And then I'm going to follow yung link na to papunta dun sa dashboard. Okay, so pinaprocess niya yung visual changes, rendering it across different browsers and screen sizes as well. Okay, while waiting, meron bang anyone that may questions ba so far? Or okay naman? After? Okay, so we're going to wait for it to finish lang, processing. Okay, and then, nakita na natin yung comparison. Ayan, ang daming nagbago. Namumula yung ating webpage. So dito makikita na natin, no, yung mga nag-change. We have this view, pero meron din tayo no regular view lang na hina-highlight lang niya yung mga particular regions with these red lines. No? Changes detected in this region, changes in this region. Okay. And then, like yung kanina, we have the option to render across different browsers. Then, okay, notice na may subtle differences between the browsers. Mabalik ko lang siya sa image. And then different screen sizes as well. Okay, so now papasok ka na as the human tester to evaluate are these intended changes or meron ba dito parang hindi tama. You either request for changes, so essentially to fail mo yung test, hindi magiging baseline itong nasa right side. Ito pa rin yung source of truth. fail yung test. Or you approve it or you pass the test. Okay, which means na ito na yung magiging source of truth. Intentional yung mga changes. Okay? So, ganun lang kasimple si Percy. Alright. So, I hope at this point na nakakuha kayo ng sense of the different ways kung paano natin ma-implement yung visual testing sa process natin, manual testing, automated or guided testing. And siguro, to wrap it all up, no, magkakaroon tayo ng kasya ko ba? Isang game lang. Okay. So magkakaroon tayo ng isang game. Nakikita itong mga box na ito ng iPhone, water tumblers pala, sorry. Pala ko iPhone eh. Okay. So, I can see na karamihan sa atin may phone naman, no? Sana maganda kung naka-laptop. Pero if you want to participate, go doon may send ako sa inyong ibang link. Okay, even, actually, ano na siya, madadagdag lang tayo ng konti doon sa URL. Okay. Please try to visit ito. Okay, dagdagan nyo lang ng ER dun sa dulo, imbis na omnomnomer. Isang dalawang nom, isang er. Okay, omnomnomer.godaddyscience.com. And then let me know kung nag-load sa inyo yung page. Nag-load ba sa inyo? Nag-load ba? Punta kayo sa mga yan. Okay, thank you, sir. So kung may browser yung phone niyo, I assume meron. If you want to participate lang naman, you can go ahead to this web page. Okay. So ngayon, tatry natin i-simulate kung makikita ba natin as humans lahat ng changes. So mag-simulate tayo ng scenario wherein magkakaroon ng change dito sa website na to. Yung nakikita nyo ngayon, that will be the baseline. And then babaguhin ko in a short while ng konti yung ibang elements dyan. And then let's try to spot some differences. And then kalaban natin si Percy. Let's see kung ma-identify natin lahat ng kaya ni Percy. Kasi kung hindi naman, pwede naman pala tayo. Percy. Okay, anyway, sige, joke lang naman yun. Please go to that site and then load ko dito yung yung first test. Yes.
Pwedeng 7 participants, yung fastest test.
Sige, yung fastest or sige, yung fastest or yung pinakamaraming na-identify. Yeah. Okay, so mag-establish muna ako ng baseline natin. Gagamitin ko itong si omnomnomer test case. Omnomnomer. Okay. And then, I think okay na. Sige. Establish muna tayo ng baseline. NPX, Percy XN, okay, pa-establish muna natin sa kanyang baseline. And then, maglalagay lang ako ng konting change. Pero accept ko muna pala yung list. Okay, balik lang ako dun sa kanina. Okay. Sige, habang nagpa-process siya ng visual changes, okay. So, try kung iwan ko muna sa dito. Alright. And then, ito, gawin ko muna dito para magawa ko yung changes dun sa site. Okay. Okay, finishing up na si Percy. Refresh ko lang mga na kailangan. Okay, so establish natin itong baseline na to. Approve ko siya. Alright, and then, ito na. So, I'm going to simulate a change on the website. Okay. Wag niyong i-reload Wag niyong i-reload yung sa own page niyo kasi makita niyo yung bagong site. Okay, so ito yung bagong website natin. Ganito na yung itsura niya. Nagulak lang pala siya. Okay, so ito na yung itsura niya, pero para makita natin siya on mobile, okay, so something like this, no? Ito na yung bagong itsura natin. Already, I think meron na kayo nakikita mga changes. Hopefully meron. Okay? So, rerun ko na yung Percy test natin. Papa-identify ko na sa kanya yung changes. And then, habang nagra-run, I'm going to give everyone siguro mga 60 seconds or 1 minute kasi yun yung example natin kanina. Okay? So, 60 seconds. Ito yung bago nating website. Okay. So, your 60 seconds to identify as many changes as you can on this website starts now. Again, yung nasa phones ninyo, sarili ninyong device, yan ang basic. Ito yung change. So, try to see kung meron kayong mga changes na nakikita dito. Or if you can, no, kung gusto niyo dyan din sa mga sa mga devices niyo, you can open a new tab to the same URL para ma-load pa rin niya itong mas madali ninyong makita. Okay? Kasi ako, ini-scroll ko lang eh. Ito yung tinitingnan niyo. Pero if you want, you can open a new tab lang. Okay? I hope meron na kayong mga nakikitang mga differences. Keep that, yung count, no? Keep it in mind lang kung ilan yung nabibilang niyo. Alright? Okay, malapit na tayo sa dulo. Nasa subscribe part na tayo ng site. Note it down kung ilan yung differences na nakikita ninyo. Okay, I think patapos na rin yung 60 seconds natin. Okay. Alright, so nasa pinakadulo na tayo sa. Okay, sige. So before natin tignan yung result ni Percy, does anyone want to share kung ilan yung nakita nilang differences? Sige, paramihan lang. No, kasi, paramihan. Sige, third. 12.
Wow. Wow, may winner na.
Okay na.
Uwi na.
Okay na. Hindi, joke lang. Thank you. 12. Meron ba mas tataas sa 12? 12.5. Wala? Okay. Kalahati. 6. Okay, thank you. 6 na sa'yo. Akala ko. 12. Oh, sige. Wala na higher than 12? 13? 42. 42? Wait, baka mamaya 42 nga. 13. Going once. How about yung iba? Yung lower than 12. Ilan yung nakita? Yung lower than 12, ilan ang nakita ninyo? 4. Okay, sige. Actually, kaya siguro yun. Sige. Okay, so sige, wait lang, meron tayong dito. Dito, representative na tinatali yung yung results natin. Sayang naman, di ba? 12, sige, 13. Okay, wala na iba, habol. Kahit lower, 4, di ba? 5. Okay, papatulong ko sa inyo mamaya yan. Bulakay namin.
Pa-identify natin doon sa pinakamarami.
Doon sa pinakamarami. Pupunta ka dito po sa item. Okay, guys. Okay na ba yung na-count na po natin? May answer na tayo.
16, wala na.
16! Grabe, actually medyo kinakabahan ako. Baka hindi nakita ni Percy yung mga Okay, tingnan natin. So, wala na bang habol? Let's see. Okay, wala na nga pala. Actually, medyo mahirap ma-determine. Pero tingnan natin, no? Ito yung itsura ni Percy. Highlight ko na lang sa inyo mamaya exactly kung ano yung mga nagbago. Pero ito yung mga na-highlight ni Percy. Okay, so nagbago, of course, yung image, pinaka-obvious. Kung napansin niyo, nagbago din yung text dito sa tabi na images. Okay, yung about us, naging about us, and then may nagbago din dito sa text na to, dito sa text na to. Okay, and then may nagbago dito. So if we're going to count, so pakita ko lang sa inyo, ito yung results ni Percy. Okay, pero if we're going to count yung actual, sige, try natin i-count na dito. Okay, so that would be 1. Nagbago yung arrangement nito. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no? 8, nagkaroon ng question mark. 9, itong first line na to. 10, okay, feature something, nagkaroon ng exclamation point. 11, yung wrong spelling. 12, yung percentage to, and 18%. 13, yung field. 14, wrong spelling, yung sign up. 15, contact us. 16, drop us usay. 17, first name field. 18, comment in this message. 19, nagkaroon ng question mark. 20, naging period to. And I think yung last nandito, 21, naging 2028 yung copyright. And then 22, naging go mommy. Okay, so 22, and I understand no kasi medyo bahagyaw lang yung pag-scroll ko kanina, no? It's a limitation natin sa presentation na to. Meron ba?
About us.
About us. Yes. Ito pa, tama. Okay, so good job guys. Okay, okay. Good job guys, no? Yes, yung pinaka-closest si Miss. Yes.
Akala ko po may 18.
Ano yung 18 ba?
Kasi naka-base lang naman ako sa mobile version ng Spring.
Oo, yung scroll ko lang, medyo limited. Pero, pwede natin bigay din yung yes, pwede yung mapit na lang dito. So, yung 12, yung 13, yung 42, wala pa yung 42. Pwede na. Pwede sa iPhone na. Okay. Sige. Okay, icing on the cake na gusto ko lang i-highlight dito. Gaano katagal nag-test si Percy? Gaano siya katagal nag-test? So for this particular run, across 8 browsers and screen sizes, 54 seconds. Percy run. 54. So, di ba? Nanganganib yung mga trabaho natin dahil kay Percy. Okay, sa joke namin. Hindi tayo ma-replace. Hindi tayo ma-replace ni Percy. Ayun lang, guys. Thank you. Asan na ba ang aking last slide? Okay. Thank you guys very, very much for listening, for taking the time. If there are any questions, I think you're any part na ngayon. And I really hope kami napulot kayo from this topic. At the very least, I hope that's all. Okay? If you want to connect, please contact me on LinkedIn. Or connect with us. We 360 we offer software quality engineering outsourcing process. Thank you. Thank you po.
Miss, paano? Ano ba yan?
Kanina.
Thank you.
42. Tapos i-share po natin yung soft control.
Okay, yeah. Excellent friend.
Ano naman tayo, hindi naman siya nag
First, for the difference, may nag-guess yata kanina. Ikaw. One pen. Meron ito.
ano i-explain ko yun sa inyo?
Thank you, Sir Vernon. And once again, thank you both to our speakers. So we are now opening the floor for questions. You may raise your hand kung may and you may indicate po kung sino yung speaker na gusto niyo pong tanong. So, you may start asking questions na po.
Wala.
I have a question for regarding performance testing. My understanding ko kasi regarding performance testing is we test the web page depends on the performance. Yung parang yung limit, tinatest natin siya. So my question is, paano po natin malalaman kung yung tinatest natin is nasa normal lang pa na workload or the user? Normal no workload. Like yung mga user, if normal lang po ba yung mga nag-test?
Normal. You mean yung normal na, yung Paano ko sisimulan kung ano yung
Kung gaano kadami, kung gaano kahaba, tama tayo.
So first, sineset yun ng client. So, kung ilan yung users na gusto nilang i-test. Tapos, after nun, you'll analyze based on the web server logs, yung actual na logs from production, yung ilan ba yung transaction doon. And we'll check if nagmamatch ba dun sa, sa expectation ng client. Then, we will not test it na biglaan based on client expectation. Yung sinasabi ng client, 1,000 users, 5,000 users. So we'll start from lower number of users, from 100, 200, 500, going up. Then we'll see yung performance result from lower to higher.
So, example, yung client ko natin is nag-ano siya ng 1,000 users. How kung magiging duration nung testing natin?
Well, the recommendation is to do yung load testing, which is 1 hour. So yun yung first performance testing na ginagawa namin for the client. First performance testing na that we offer to client. Matic 1 hour standard duration. In order for us to replicate yung DC hour, kasi we're trying to replicate the DC hour from production. So we need to execute it for 1 hour.
1 hour.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions, please?
Good evening, everyone. For sir, regarding to Cypress. Yes. And good afternoon. Good evening, sir. My question will be for testing scenarios, do you create test cases to run it in your Cypress code? For testing scenarios, do you create test cases to run it in your Cypress code?
Do you create test cases to run it in Cypress code? Test cases are, ano na siya yung commands na siya dun sa loob ng yung keep block natin. That is yung test cases. If you are referring, gumagawa pa tayo ng separate na ano tayo, we don't do that in, sa amin we don't do that in during Cypress. Kasi yun na yung ano natin, yung parang pinang-template natin siya, yung code ng Cypress. But we can do that for us to have a reference kung tama pa yung ginawa natin step by step.
Okay, as actually I do want to observe. Follow-up will be, do script tags can be used as test cases?
What do you mean by script?
JavaScript tags.
Can we use JavaScript tags as test cases?
Yes.
Actually, can we use them as selectors?
No, as your test cases, it is a JavaScript.
No, so Cypress, we use yung conventional yung CY command, yun yung pinaka-baseline kasi ng CY. And then we use the command, which is yung sample, yung get command, which is yung kumukuha ng element response. We use yung CSS selector, which is yung sometimes it's class yung tinatarget natin, so macros. And then we use yung mga assertions na like that should. Bali for testing in Cypress, we katulad ng mga languages natin, we usually use or we are using kung ano yung commands na by Cypress, not just by Williams.
Okay. Supposedly, the intention for the expected result is the same with the help of Cypress. We cannot use the JavaScript as it is being tested, correct? Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Any more questions for Mr. Wala pa po muna. I would need some questions po from our audiences online. So, it is a question po from Mr. Bennett Tanya, and a question po for Sir Esmeraldo about Cypress. So, ang tanong niya po, do you have any suggested links or training materials for Cypress?
Hello, yung suggested link natin for Cypress is yung official documentation nila, which is you can access by cypress.io. Doon lahat yung andun lahat yung mga kailangan mo basahin. Andun din yung mga limitations ni Cypress because Cypress also have limitations. Okay, the complete documentation is under that, and I think the best way to learn Cypress is sa documentation.
Thank you, sir. So, another question from anonymous attendee, and this question was for Kamille. So, ang tanong niya po, free po ba ang load runner? If not, what other performance testing applications do you recommend that we can use for free?
Yeah, hello to anonymous user. So Load Runner is not free. It's a commercial tool. So but they offer 50 users free if you will be able to download it. So makakapag-execute ka ng 50 users or simulate 50 users, then you'll be able to generate the report and analyze yung report ng 50 users. Then more than 50 users, yun, may bayad na siya. Then JMeter. Yeah, so JMeter is a free tool, so you can download that for performance testing. But of course, it has limitations. So I'd say JMeter can just run for 500 to 1,000 of users. It depends on the machine. So ano yung capability ng machine for JMeter? So if nagkakaroon ka na ng memory issue, you have to buy base meter in order for you to proceed on more than 1,000 users. Yeah.
Another question for Ms. Kamille. Is there any difference though between the result of performance testing using UI and performance testing using just the API?
Using just the API, you mean they have differences in terms of the requests. So in UI or web-based, you can do recording. So makakapag-record ka, you can navigate through the steps. In API, you need the request. So you're just going to put the API request doon sa tool, then you're just going to run it. In terms of report, similar sila on both tools.
Last question siguro from the online audience. For Cypress, what is the best code structure for Cypress automation?
Parang medyo broad yung question. Sa code structure.
What is the best code structure for Cypress?
Medyo broad yung question. Pero pinakamagandang gawin na sa enterprise level na is we have that spec files which basically yung natin test suites natin. From there you can organize na yung mga based sa functions, sa kung ano yung tinatest natin part ng website or application. And tingin ko walang for me, walang isang best structure sa isang test. It all depends dun sa kung ano yung tinatest nyo, kung ano yung gusto nyo i-test dun sa application mo.
So, wala na po bang dadagdag na questions from our audience?
For Cypress, if we are planning to use Cypress to test our student labs new project, is it correct if I say that each group would have to develop their own script in writing or in testing their content? Because they have to design their own website, so there's no standard. So is it correct that each group will have to write their own test script? And if yes, is there any recommended way for us to help them writing their test script? Because I think that would be additional task for them doing their passion project. Thank you, sir.
So confirm to lang, yung groups na yun do have different set of web applications. Because from there pa lang, you will be having different set of test cases na. And from your question na, kailangan yung tulungan or paano mo tulungan?
Yes.
Kung nagsisimula pa lang sila sa Cypress, I suggest na i-check nila talaga yung documentation. Kasi sa documentation, dahil yung ano kasi yung pagkakaayos kasi ng code base ng Cypress. Kasi yung ano siya parang robot framework na parang English-based yung ano natin, testing natin. So most likely, kung simple tests na yung kailangan natin, lalo na sa mga capstones na ano, I think we can add yung mga students to be able to do na yung simple test na ano, unless kailangan yung mga complicated test na we can type them. Siguro doon nyo sila pwedeng tulungan sa mga yung complicated test na gusto nyo yung patasahan.
There's a Cypress po. Is there an existing extension, let's say if you want na matuto ka, extension ng Cypress for Visual Studio Code? Kasi di ba sir, let's say in Visual Studio Code, let's say we do have a copilot, right? Nag-aid siya sa programmer. So kahit hindi nila alam yung syntax, nagbibigay siya. So is there equivalent po in Cypress?
Now, given from copilot, I use code.eu, tapos yung copilot, after copilot. And usually, kapag yan lang, kapag gumamit ng test cases, na makuha niya naman yung kailangan. So, for alternative, I think they can use code.eu.
Hello, good evening po for this question na po for the performance testing. Feasible po ba yung performance testing if there are no dedicated environment providing tools? So for example, available yung QA environment, UAT environment, and then production. So feasible po.
Well, the recommendation is to use a dedicated environment. Kasi, let's say agile, diba? You will keep on execution. So the tester will have to focus on execution as well as the reporting of the issues and so the tester will need to execute it multiple times, hindi lang isang beses. Okay? So, possible siya na walang dedicated environment, pero yun nga lang yung effort. Diba? Let's say, yung effort is you need to schedule it. Half day na gagamitin siya ng manual testers, then half day performance testers. Diba? Pero yung impact nun is the time. Let's say agile ka, then you will need to execute 10 scenarios. So kung yung target na 10 for dedicated environment, pero for non-dedicated environment, wala kang dedicated environment, you have to go for 5 lang. So nakita mo yung impact niya. Less scenarios.
Follow-up question. So, meron po ang standard parang committed na performance. So, usually, for example, nasa 2 weeks free. So, after ng release, then magsitink in yung changes ng prod to the to the performance requirements. Malang pa rin magranong performance. Tama.
So sa agile, so every sprint you have to do performance testing as best practice.
Before or after it?
Before release, of
Okay.
course. Kasi every time you deploy to test environment, you will need to get the code and deploy it in your performance environment. So it's in parallel with your regression testing. Just like the regression test. So we do have performance testing. It can be in parallel. So so waterfall, I think it happens on that start. But the best practice was to do it on agile. So every sprint. Because every sprint there are code changes there. So when you're doing it every sprint, you were able to capture yung mga performance issues little by little. Not in just one phase. One phase na nandun na yung sobrang daming performance issues din. Nangangalag na yung mga text to fix it. So, yan siya.
Any more questions po about supervisor Vernon, about Percy, visual testing? May questions po? If wala na po, thank you all for sharing your questions, and thank you to the speakers for the insightful answers to the question. I'm sure na madami tayong natutunan about Cypress, performance testing, and visual testing ngayong evening. And ngayon po, nagtatapos na po yung ating event. So, just a reminder, sasend po kami ng feedback forms. Once you accomplish the feedback forms, we will send you po a certificate of attendance and copy of the speaker's deck and recording. Yung mga nag-accomplish ng unang form, mabibigyan po namin. So please, give us your feedback po para mapagpabuti po namin yung enablement seminar. So, PSIA would also like to announce that we're having our soft launch 2023. So, kung dun sa mga hindi po familiar with soft launch po is one of the biggest software conventions po here in the Philippines. So, we're having our 12 soft launch for this year, and gaganapin po siya sa October 25 to 27. This is a hybrid event. So yung October 25 to 26 is online, and 27 will be hybrid, and ang gaganapin po siya sa SMX Convention Center Aura. So for those who are interested, you may scan our QR code here and to visit our website, and to learn more details, paano po mag-register and makakuha ng ticket for Cenzon. So, I hope po you support our event. So, thank you. Thank you all for attending the 51st Enablement Seminar, and you may now take your dinner po sa lounge area. Thank you so much po. Thank you.
Pwede ay group photo, group photo.
Sorry, before po pala tayo mag-dinner, photo, ano muna?
Group photo lang.
Group photo po.
Kasi nakaupo.
Ay, mga dalawa, nakaupo ako dito.
Upo na kayo. Tapos, pagpatay, gusto na din.
Saan kanina?
Sige, tayo na lang.
Sabi na nagtawag ako. Kaya saan?
Ito po, ito po.
Center. Center na lang.
Saan na?
Selfie na lang para. Meron pa. Dalawang po. Dalawa tayo.
Moses na stages of hindi maano sa mga dito.
Yan. Kaya nga lang.
Dapat na tayo. Dito nakikita na natin. Ayaw ka pa na. Evidence na. Wait lang. Puro
One, two, three. Ano po?
Kaya isang phone pa.
Ako, one, two, three. One, one, two, three. Diba po? One, two, three. Thank you. Pwede naman ay, oo nga. Dito tayo ng pag-picture natin. Maybe talaga. Hindi na makita. Hindi tayo daw. Ay. Okay, ready na rin.
Oo, kasi last event dapat na naman. Special.